This is still on. I didn't think I'd be going this early. I don't know how to swim. And I have absolutely no desire to. That's the thing. I don't know, and I don't really want to know, because I don't particularly enjoy water, because my family are land-dwelling folk. If given the option to jump in the water, I will reach for a magazine and just sit with my legs slightly crossed with a large sun hat, like an older lady, and I will sit there and I will read that magazine, preferably the New Yorker. And yet, despite this, my mother insisted in my youth that I go and attend the YMCA, so that I could learn to swim, just in case I should happen to fall out of a boat, which is preposterous. So I went and I put on swim pants. Whatever. I put on swim pants, and there was a mural on the wall of this swimming torture gym, and the mural was of different aquatic life, and it began with fish eggs, and it moved on toward guppies, and then guppies became pollywogs. I think that sounds preposterous enough to be true. And then trout, and then stingrays, and then sharks. And sharks were like the really good swimmers, as they often are considered to be. And so I got in the water, and I went with some very close friends of mine, and I thrashed around in the water, and I moved from egg to guppy. And I remained at guppy while my friends swam very quickly into trout and eventually into shark. And as my friends were sharks, I was still there, kind of like bobbing desperately in guppy level. And the teacher really, like, speaking specifically to me, would intone very, very brightly, like, you know, maybe a shark would want to help the guppy. And then my friends would like swim back from the deep end to drag me up from the barely drownable waters that I was in and teach me how to swim. And it was at that point that I realized that I had absolutely no desire to swim. Until I turned 31, when I met a young lady who comes from lake folk. My girlfriend and life partner swims beautifully. She cuts through the water like a sword, and I splash into it like a rock. And her folk are desperate to be in the water, and I am desperate not to. And so when I went up to visit her family, all of them coagulating very excitedly around the lake, they all looked at me like, "Come on, jump in!" And I'm like, "Surely you jest." And they refused to believe me that I couldn't swim. And all of their disbelief was manifest in the face of my girlfriend's youngest, I don't know, there's too many of them, I come from a small family, younger cousin, who looked at me and said, "But you can't swim?" And I said, "My friend, I can't even dive." And he said, "Well, I'll teach you." And I said, and he tried for the duration of an afternoon to teach me how to dive. And I don't know, I'm 35, I haven't had my ass over my head since I was probably 12, when I did it like a hasty cartwheel. But I tried to explain to this kid, if you've ever had to explain to a 12-year-old for whom everything is possible, like, dude, it ain't gonna happen. And he's like, "No, it'll be fine, come on, like, just do this." And he dives beautifully into the water because he's this, like, the tow-headed bronze little idol, and I'm like, with my shirt off, I look like a wad of chewing gum that was like spat on the floor of a barber shop. And like, so like, I'm trying to explain to this kid, like, "Nope." And he's like, "No, come on." And I fall into the water and then flail pathetically landward. And he looks at me as he climbs out of the water, and he looks at me and he goes, you really can't dive." And I was like, "I know." So in this family, the measure, I'm going to go over, the measure of manhood is your ability to jump off of a big rock. Again, I don't know why. And so we all climb onto the boat, and her most alpha male uncle looks at me and he's like, "You gonna jump off the rock?" And I said, "I guess I am." And so I get into the boat with, like, you know, what's that called? The shit that goes on your nose to prevent cancer. That's the one. And I get in the boat and we, like, to the rock, and this rock is fucking too big And I get out of the water and I bob on over to the thing and I get onto the top of this big rock and all of them are jumping off and I can think all I want to do is be on the dock. All I want to do is read what's in the New Yorker because I'm sure there's some very like incisively illustrated and written cartoon about my current predicament. And I look down into the boat and there are the curls of my lovely life partner and she's smiling her big toothy smile and so I just say fuck it and I go and I run. And I jump, and I plunge, and I continue plunging, and I connect with the water, and at least 2/3 of the lake goes into my nose. And I come up like spattering and ridiculous, and I make my way to the boat, and I've somehow, through this like masculine gesture, earned the respect of my would-be family. And now, whenever I go to that lake, they all jump into the water bronze and perfect, and I sit on the dock, and I read the New Yorker with her grandmother. And we drink Pim's cups, and we just chill the fuck out. Thank you.